Why nice people fail. Introduction. You have been told a lie your entire life. From the moment you were old enough to understand language, parents and teachers and society have repeated the same mantra to you. They told you that if you are good to the world will be good to you. They told you that if you keep your head down, follow the rules and smile at everyone, you will be rewarded. They promised you that being nice is the key to a happy life. That is a lie. Look around you. Look at the people who are winning in life. Look at the people who get the promotions. Look at the people who are deeply respected by their peers. Look at the people who seem to have endless energy and time. Are they the ones saying yes to everything? Are they the ones apologizing for taking up space? No, they are not. There is a massive difference between being kind and being nice. Kindness is a virtue. Kindness is doing the right thing, even when it is hard. Kindness is telling a friend the truth that hurts them in the short term, but saves them in the long run. Niceness is different. Niceness is a disguise. Niceness is being polite because you are afraid of conflict. Niceness is agreeing with people because you are terrified of rejection. Niceness is a weakness. This book is not about teaching you how to be a bad person. It is not about becoming a jerk or a villain. It is about waking you up. It is about stopping the behaviors that turn you into a doormat. It is about moving from being harmless to being respected. We are going to strip away the fear that keeps you small. We are going to look at the biology and the psychology of why you act this way. And we are going to give you the tools to stop it. You deserve to be the main character in your own life, not just a supporting actor who is afraid to speak their lines. Before we begin, I have a question for you. I want you to think about your past week. Think about the times you said yes when you wanted to say no. Think about the times you stayed silent. What is the one situation recently where being nice actually backfired on you? Scroll down and leave a comment below with your answer. Sharing it is the first step to fixing it. Chapter 1. The biology of being a pushover. To understand why you struggle to stand up for yourself, we have to go back in time. We have to look at where you came from. You might think that your inability to say no is just a personality quirk, or maybe you think you are just naturally shy. But it goes much deeper than that. The behavior is hardwired into your DNA. Imagine you are a human living 50,000 years ago. You live in a small tribe of maybe 50 people. In that world, your survival depends entirely on the group. You need the group to hunt. You need the group to share food. You need the group to protect you from predators. If you are alone in the wild, you die. It is that simple. In that ancient world, rejection was a death sentence. If you angered the tribe, or if you were too difficult, or if you did not fit in, they might cast you out. And if they cast you out, a saber-toothed tiger would eat you or you would freeze to death. Because of this, your brain evolved a very specific alarm system. It evolved to feel physical pain and intense fear whenever you sensed that you were losing the approval of others. Fast forward to today, you are not living in a cave. You are living in a modern city with millions of people. If someone rejects you today, you will not die. If your boss gets annoyed with you, a tiger will not eat you. If you have an awkward conversation with a stranger, you will not freeze to death. But your brain does not know that. Your brain is still running the old software. This is why you feel that panic in your chest when you have to confront someone. This is why your palms sweat when you think about asking for a raise. This is why you apologize when someone else bumps into you. Your biological instincts are screaming at you that you are in danger. Your brain thinks that any form of social friction is a threat to your life. The first step to fixing this is to realize that your feelings are liars. The fear you feel is real, but the danger is not. You are experiencing a false alarm. When you feel that tightness in your throat because you want to disagree with someone, you must remind yourself that you are safe. You are not hunting in the jungle, you are just having a conversation. There is another biological trick your brain plays on you. It is called the spotlight effect. Most nice people are obsessed with what other people think of them. You walk into a room and you worry about how you look. You worry if you said the wrong thing. You replay conversations in your head for days, wondering if you sounded stupid. You believe that everyone is watching you. You believe that everyone is analyzing your every move. The truth is that nobody cares. This is not an insult, it is a liberation. Everyone else is just like you. They are obsessed with themselves. They are worrying about their own bills, their own insecurities, and their own lives. They do not have the time or the energy to dissect your behavior. When you make a mistake, you think it is a headline story on the news. To everyone else, it is a tiny blip that they forget in 5 seconds. Let us look at some real facts. Psychology has a model called the Big 5 personality traits. One of these traits is called agreeableness. People who are high in agreeableness are polite, compassionate, and cooperative. They value social harmony above all else. That sounds great on paper, but let us look at the data. Studies have consistently shown that highly agreeable people earn significantly less money over their lifetimes than disagreeable people. Why is this? It is because agreeable people do not ask for what they are worth. They do not negotiate hard. They do not want to upset the boss by asking for a raise. They assume that if they just work hard and are nice, someone will notice and reward them. But the world does not work that way. The market does not pay for niceness. The market pays for value, and it pays for people who are willing to demand what they deserve. If you never ask, the answer is always no. There is a story of a man named John. John was the nicest guy in the office. He always made the coffee. He stayed late to help others finish their projects. He never complained when people dumped extra work on his desk. John thought he was building job security. He thought he was being a team player. One day, a promotion opened up. It was a leadership position. John expected to get it. After all, he was the heart of the office. But the promotion went to Sarah. Sarah was polite, but she was not a pushover. She went home at 5 o'clock. She said no when she was busy. She challenged the boss when she thought a strategy was wrong. John was crushed. He asked his boss why he did not get the job. The boss told him something that changed his life. The boss said, "John, you are a great helper, but we need a leader. A leader has to make tough decisions. A leader has to tell people when they are wrong. You are too nice to lead." John realized in that moment that his niceness was not a strength. It was a glass ceiling. He had trapped himself in the role of the helper, and nobody respected him as a leader. You have to understand that being nice is often just a mask for fear. You are not being nice because you are a saint. You are being nice because you are scared. You are scared of the awkward silence. You are scared of someone raising their voice. You are scared of not being liked. When you act out of fear, people can smell it. Humans are social animals. We can sense when someone is faking it. When you are overly polite, it feels unnatural. It feels like you are hiding something. This is why people often do not trust the overly nice guy. They wonder what he is covering up. They wonder what he really thinks. Real respect comes from authenticity. It comes from being a person with edges. Think about the people you respect the most. Do they agree with everything you say? No. They have their own opinions. They have their own boundaries. You respect them because you know where they stand. You know that if they give you a compliment, they actually mean it. When a nice person gives you a compliment, it means nothing, because they are nice to everyone. They would compliment a serial killer if they thought it would avoid an awkward moment. But when a person with a backbone gives you a compliment, it feels like gold. It has value because it is rare and it is honest. So how do we break this biological cycle? How do we turn off the caveman alarm in our brains? We do it through exposure. We do it by proving to our brains that we will not die. You need to start practicing small acts of rebellion. You need to start exercising your no muscle. It is like going to the gym. If you have never lifted weights, you cannot start with 500 pounds. You have to start small. Here is an actionable step you can try today. It is called the awkward pause. Usually when someone asks you for something, you answer immediately. You say yes before you even think about it. Your reflex is to please them. From now on, when someone asks you a favor or asks you to commit to something, I want you to wait. Count to 3 in your head. 1, 2, 3. Silence is powerful. In that silence, you are taking control. You are signaling that your time is valuable and that you need to consider the request. It makes the other person wait for you. It shifts the power dynamic instantly. During those 3 seconds, ask yourself a simple question. Do I actually want to do this? If the answer is no, then you must say no. You do not need to be rude. You can simply say, I cannot do that right now. Here is another actionable step. Stop apologizing for existing. Nice people say sorry for everything. You say sorry when you drop a pen. You say sorry when you need to get past someone in the aisle. You say sorry when you ask a question, stop it. Every time you say sorry when you have done nothing wrong, you are telling your brain that you are lower status than everyone else. You are reinforcing the idea that you are a burden. Instead of saying sorry, say thank you. If you are late, do not say sorry, I am late. Say thank you for waiting for me. If you talk too much, do not say sorry for rambling. Say thank you for listening. If you made a mistake, do not say sorry, I am so stupid. Say thank you for catching that, I will fix it. This small shift changes the energy completely. Apologizing looks down. Gratitude looks up. It maintains your dignity while still acknowledging the other person. You must also understand the concept of friction. Friction creates fire. Friction creates progress. You cannot build anything meaningful without some level of resistance. If you are always smooth, always agreeing, always nice, you are just sliding through life without leaving a mark. You are a ghost. To be real is to cause friction. Think about a great movie. Is it interesting if the main character faces no challenges and agrees with everyone? No, it is boring. We love characters who struggle, who fight, who stand for something. You are the main character of your life. You need to start creating some friction. This week, find one small thing to disagree with. It can be something tiny. If your friends want to go to a restaurant that you hate, do not just smile and go. Say, actually, I do not like that place. Let us go somewhere else. Watch what happens. Your heart will race. Your palms will sweat. You will wait for them to hate you. But they won't. They will probably say, okay, sure, where do you want to go? And in that moment, your brain will learn a new lesson. It will learn that you can speak your mind and the world will not end. You can assert yourself and the tribe will not cast you out. In fact, they might even respect you more for having an opinion. This is the path out of the trap. It is not about changing who you are deep down. It is about updating your operating system. It is about telling that caveman part of your brain that you are safe, that you are strong, and that you are in charge. You have a right to take up space. You have a right to your own preferences. You have a right to your own time. These are not gifts that other people give you. These are things you must claim for yourself. The biology of being a pushover is strong, but your conscious mind is stronger. You have the power to rewrite your instincts. It starts with awareness. It starts with catching yourself in the act of being nice out of fear. And it starts with the courage to be just a little bit disagreeable. When you stop trying to please everyone, you become free. You gain the energy to focus on what actually matters. You attract people who like you for who you really are, not the mask you are wearing. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about how this niceness ruins your career and your ability to lead. We are going to explore why the nice manager always fails and why silence is the most expensive mistake you can make. But for now, sit with this truth. Your fear is a liar. You are not in danger. You are ready to take control. Chapter 2. The cost of silence. There is a moment that happens in almost every meeting room, every relationship, and every family gathering. It is a moment you know well. A decision is being made. Someone suggests a plan. You look at the plan, and your gut tells you it is a bad idea. You see the flaws immediately. You know it will waste money. You know it will waste time. You know it is going to fail. You look around the room. Everyone else is nodding. Everyone else seems to agree. You feel a tightness in your throat. You open your mouth to object, but then a voice in your head stops you. The voice says, do not be the difficult one. The voice says, do not ruin the mood. The voice says, maybe they know something you do not know. So you close your mouth. You smile. You nod along. You stay silent. 6 months later, the project fails exactly how you thought it would. The money is lost. The time is wasted. And you are left with a bitter taste in your mouth because you knew it, but you did nothing to stop it. This is the cost of silence. We often think of silence as a neutral act. We think that by saying nothing, we are doing nothing. We think we are staying out of trouble. But in the professional world and in your own life, silence is not neutral. Silence is an action. Silence is a vote of confidence for the status quo. When you see a mistake and you say nothing, you have just endorsed that mistake. You have put your name on it. This chapter is about the destruction that nice people cause when they refuse to speak up. It is about how businesses crumble and relationships rot because people are too polite to tell the truth. We are going to look at why you do this and we are going to look at the massive price you pay for it. There is a famous concept in sociology called the Abilene paradox. It was introduced by a management expert named Jerry B. Harvey. The story goes like this. On a hot afternoon in Texas, a family is playing dominoes on a porch. The father-in-law says, "Let us drive to Abilene for dinner." Abilene is 50 miles away. It is a long, hot, dusty drive in a car without air conditioning. The wife thinks it is a bad idea. She wants to stay home and relax. But she says that sounds like a great idea to avoid upsetting her father. The husband thinks it is a crazy idea. He hates the heat, but he thinks his wife wants to go, so he says, "Sounds good to me. I hope your mother wants to go." The mother-in-law does not want to go either, but she says, of course, "Let us go." So they all pile into the hot car. They drive 50 miles. The dust is choking them. The heat is unbearable. The food at the cafeteria in Abilene is terrible. They drive 50 miles back, exhausted and irritable. When they get home, the truth comes out. The husband says, "I never wanted to go. I only went to satisfy you." The wife says, "I only went to satisfy my father." The father-in-law says, "I only suggested it because I thought you all might be bored." The result is that 4 people did exactly what none of them wanted to do. They spent time and money and energy to be miserable, all because they wanted to be nice. This is the Abilene paradox. It is the inability of a group to agree on what they actually want to do, because each individual is guessing what the others want. It is a collective suicide of logic. You see this in business every single day. Imagine a boardroom. A CEO presents a new marketing strategy. It is confusing and expensive. The CFO thinks it is risky. The VPs think it is off-brand. But nobody wants to be the one to burst the CEO bubble. Nobody wants to be the negative energy in the room. So the CFO smiles and says, "Interesting approach." The VPs nod and say, "Very innovative." The CEO leaves the meeting thinking everyone loves the idea. He pours millions of dollars into it. The campaign launches and it flops. The company loses money. Layoffs happen. Good people lose their jobs. Why did this happen? It did not happen because of bad data. It did not happen because of the market. It happened because the people in that room were too nice to speak the truth. Their politeness destroyed the company. Nice people think they are preserving harmony, but they are actually creating chaos. They are like a surgeon who is afraid to cut the patient because they do not want to cause pain. If the surgeon does not cut, the patient dies. If you do not speak the hard truth, the project dies. This brings us to a fundamental law of physics that applies to success. Friction creates fire. You cannot light a match without striking it against a rough surface. You cannot drive a car without the friction of the tires against the road. If the road is perfectly smooth ice, the car slides out of control. You cannot build muscle without the resistance of gravity tearing your fibers so they can grow back stronger. Progress requires resistance. It requires friction. When you are always agreeable, you are removing the friction from your environment. You are making everything smooth. You think this is good, but it means there is no traction. Without traction, there is no movement. Look at the greatest leaders and innovators in history. Look at people like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or Gordon Ramsay. Were they nice? No. They were often described as difficult. They were demanding. They were blunt. They did not care if they hurt your feelings in the short term. They cared about the quality of the work. Now, I'm not telling you to be abusive. There is a line between being demanding and being a bully. You should never attack someone personally. You should never insult their dignity. But you must attack bad ideas. You must attack mediocrity. Steve Jobs was famous for telling engineers that their work was garbage. That sounds harsh, it sounds mean. But why did he do it? He did it because he knew they were capable of better. He refused to accept good enough. Because he was willing to be the source of friction, his teams built the best technology in the world. They achieved things they did not think were possible because he pushed them past their comfort zones. If Steve Jobs had been a nice boss, the iPhone would probably be a clunky piece of plastic with a physical keyboard, because he would have agreed with the first engineer who said a touch screen was too hard to build. When you prioritize feelings over facts, you lower the standard for everyone. You create a culture of mediocrity. In a culture of niceness, excellence is seen as a threat. If you work too hard, you make others look bad. If you criticize a plan, you are seen as not being a team player. This is the trap of the team player label. Corporations love to tell you to be a team player. They put it in job descriptions. They talk about it in performance reviews. But what they usually mean is that they want you to be compliant. They want you to execute without questioning. A real team player is not someone who blindly agrees. A real team player is someone who cares enough about the team to stop the bus before it drives off a cliff. A real team player is the one who says, "I think we are making a mistake." That person might be annoying in the moment. They might slow down the meeting, but they are the most valuable person in the room. They are the immune system of the company. They are fighting the infection of bad ideas. If you want to succeed, you have to stop trying to be the person who makes everyone smile. You have to be the person who makes everyone think. Let us talk about how this applies to management. This is the concept of the invisible ceiling. Many nice people want to be managers. They think that because they are good with people, they will be good leaders. They think they can lead through friendship and kindness. They envision a workplace where everyone loves them, and everyone works hard because they are so inspired by the positive vibes. Then reality hits. You become a manager. You have a team of 10 people. 8 of them are great. They work hard, they show up on time, they deliver. But one of them, let us call him Mike, is toxic. Mike comes in late. Mike complains constantly. Mike does half the work of everyone else. The nice manager sees this. But the nice manager hates conflict. They do not want to have the tough conversation. They do not want to fire Mike because Mike has a family, or Mike is going through a hard time, or simply because firing someone feels mean. So the nice manager ignores the problem. They hope Mike will get better on his own. They cover for Mike. They fix Mike's mistakes. They maybe give Mike a gentle hint, like, "Hey, try to be on time." But they say it with a smile so Mike does not take it seriously. What happens next? You might think the only cost is Mike's salary. You are wrong. The cost is the morale of the other 8 employees. The top performers are watching. They see Mike coming in late. They see Mike doing lazy work. And they see you, the boss, doing nothing about it. They realize that there are no consequences for bad performance. They realize that you do not have the backbone to protect the team. They start to resent you. They start to feel that their hard work is pointless. Why should they bust their backs when Mike gets paid the same amount to do nothing? Eventually, the good employees quit. They leave for a company where excellence is rewarded and incompetence is punished. Who is left? You and Mike, and a few other mediocre people who can't find jobs elsewhere. By being nice to the one toxic person, you were cruel to the 8 good people. By refusing to hurt Mike's feelings, you destroyed the team's culture. This is the paradox of leadership. To be a good leader, you must be willing to be the bad guy sometimes. You must be willing to make the decision that makes you unpopular in the moment to secure the future of the group. If you cannot fire a toxic employee, you cannot lead. If you cannot look someone in the eye and tell them their work is not up to standard, you cannot lead. You are just a babysitter. The cost of silence also destroys your own career advancement. There is a myth that if you keep your head down and do good work, you will be noticed. This is the field of dreams strategy. If you build it, they will come. It is a lie. We live in an attention economy. In a busy company, your boss has 1,000 problems. If you are the quiet employee who never complains, never asks for anything, and always smiles, you become invisible. You become part of the furniture. You become reliable, but not valuable. There is a difference. A toaster is reliable. You push the lever, bread gets brown. But if the toaster breaks, you do not cry. You just go buy another toaster. You do not respect the toaster. You use it. Nice people are treated like office appliances. They are used until they burn out, and then they are replaced. If you want to be promoted, you need to be perceived as a force. You need to have a voice. You need to be the person who brings new ideas, even if those ideas challenge the current strategy. When you stay silent in a meeting, you are signaling that you have nothing to add. You are signaling that your brain is empty. It does not matter if you have a genius idea in your head. If it stays in your head, it does not exist. The world judges you by your output, not your potential. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, but I don't want to be rude. I don't want to interrupt. You need to reframe this. Speaking up is not rude. Speaking up is your job. You are paid for your mind. If you withhold your thoughts, you are actually stealing from the company. You are not delivering the value they are paying for. Let us talk about the feedback sandwich. This is a technique that many nice people use. You have probably been taught this. It says that if you want to give someone criticism, you should sandwich it between two compliments. You say, "Hey Dave, I really love your enthusiasm, but this report is completely wrong. Anyway, great tie today. This is a disaster. It is a disaster for two reasons. First, it is confusing. Dave hears the compliments and thinks he is doing a great job. He filters out the criticism because the human brain is wired to hear what it wants to hear. He leaves the meeting thinking you are happy with him. He does not fix the report. Second, smart people see right through it. They know the sandwich. When you start with a generic compliment, they immediately brace themselves. They think, here comes the punch. It makes your compliments seem fake. They stop trusting your praise because they think it is just a setup for a slap. The feedback sandwich is not about helping Dave. It is about protecting you. It is about making you feel less awkward about giving bad news. It is selfish. If you respect someone, give it to them straight. Dave, this report is not accurate. The data in section 3 is wrong. I need you to redo it by tomorrow. That is clear. That is actionable. It is not mean. It is professional. Dave knows exactly where he stands. He knows what he needs to do to succeed. He might feel a pinch of embarrassment, but he will respect you for being honest. And more importantly, he will fix the problem. Directness is a form of kindness. Ambiguity is a form of torture. When you are vague because you are trying to be nice, you leave people in a state of anxiety. They don't know if they are winning or losing. They don't know the rules of the game. Imagine playing a sport where the referee never blows the whistle because he doesn't want to upset the players. It would be chaos. Nobody would know the score. The game would fall apart. You need to be the referee of your own life and your own team. You need to blow the whistle. Now let us move to the personal cost of silence, the resentment. When you stay silent about your needs, you build a ledger in your mind. We talked about covert contracts briefly, but let's go deeper. Every time you swallow your words, you swallow a small dose of poison. You think, I didn't say anything, so it's fine. But the body keeps the score. That poison turns into resentment. Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You start to hate the people you are being nice to. You hate your boss for giving you extra work, even though you said yes with a smile. You hate your partner for choosing the movie, even though you said, I don't care, you pick. You become a martyr. In your head, you are the suffering saint. You tell yourself, I do everything for everyone and nobody appreciates me. But here is the hard truth. Nobody asked you to suffer. You chose it. You chose silence. You chose to suppress your voice. People cannot read your mind. They only know what you tell them. If you tell them everything is fine, they will believe you. They will continue to treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. You are teaching people how to treat you every single day. When you stay late without complaint, you are teaching your boss that your personal time has no value. When you let a friend make fun of you and you laugh along, you are teaching them that you have no self-respect. When you listen to a family member gossip for an hour when you have work to do, you are teaching them that you are a garbage can for their emotions. And once you teach them these rules, it is very hard to change them, but it is not impossible. You have to break the silence. This is scary. I know it is scary. Your heart will pound, your voice might shake, but you must understand that the anticipation of the conflict is always worse than the conflict itself. We build up these monsters in our heads. We think that if we disagree, the other person will scream or cry or fire us or leave us. In reality, 99% of the time, the reaction is, oh, okay, people are surprisingly adaptable. When you set a boundary, they might test it once or twice, but eventually they adjust. They respect the new line. Here is an actionable tool for breaking the silence. It is called the 5-second rule for meetings. Different from the book of the same name, but similar concept. When you are in a meeting and you have a thought or an objection or an idea, you have a window of opportunity. It lasts about 5 seconds. If you do not speak within 5 seconds, your brain will kill the idea. Your brain will start making excuses. It's too late now. Someone else will say it. It's probably stupid. You must act before your brain has time to sabotage you. When the thought comes, shoot your hand up, or lean forward, or clear your throat. Do something physical to signal that you are entering the arena. Once you have signaled, you are committed. You have to speak. Start with small phrases. You don't need to give a grand speech. I have a concern about that. Can we look at this from another angle? I'm not sure I agree with that premise. These are entry ramps. They are low stakes, but they get your voice into the room. Once you hear your own voice, the fear diminishes. You realize you are still alive. The room did not explode. You need to become comfortable with the awkward silence that follows your truth. When you say something difficult, there will be a pause. The nice person rushes to fill that pause. They say, "I mean, it's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Sorry if that sounds harsh. Do not do that. State your truth." And then stop. Let the silence sit there. Let the other person process it. Let the weight of your words land. If you rush to soften it, you remove the power. You turn a cannonball into a marshmallow. In negotiations, the person who speaks first after the offer usually loses. In truth-telling, the person who breaks the silence after the truth usually weakens their position. Say what you mean. Put a period at the end of the sentence. And wait. This applies to salary negotiations too. I need a 20% raise to bring me to market rate. Silence. Do not say, "But I know budgets are tight." Just wait. The manager will feel the pressure of the silence. They will be forced to respond to the request, not to your excuses. The cost of silence is your potential. The cost of silence is your dignity. The cost of silence is your happiness. You cannot save the world if you cannot save yourself. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead yourself. And you cannot lead yourself if you are afraid of your own voice. Your voice is a muscle. If you do not use it, it atrophies, it gets weak. Eventually, you lose the ability to speak up even when you want to. But the opposite is also true. Every time you speak up, the muscle gets stronger. Every time you survive the risk of honesty, your confidence grows. You start to walk taller. People start to look at you differently. They stop interrupting you. They start asking for your opinion. Why? Because they know you will tell them the truth. In a world full of fake smiles and political correctness, the truth is the most valuable currency. The person who is willing to speak it becomes a magnet. You might have fewer friends who just want a yes man, but you will have deeper relationships with people who want a partner. You might have more friction at work, but you will have more respect, and eventually you will have more success. Stop paying the cost of silence. It is too expensive. You cannot afford it anymore. The world needs you to speak. The world needs your ideas. The world needs your no. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about the hidden contracts that destroy your relationships. We are going to look at why you feel so much resentment in your love life and your friendships, and how the friend zone is actually a prison you built for yourself. We are going to learn how to burn the covert contracts and build relationships based on real respect. But for today, I want you to practice one thing. Find one moment where you would usually stay silent, one moment where you would usually nod and smile, and simply say, "I disagree." Say it kindly, say it calmly, but say it. Watch the world not end, and feel your power return. That is the beginning of the end of your failure. That is the beginning of your success. Silence is not gold. Silence is submission. Speak up. Chapter 2 is a lesson in volume. Not the volume of your voice, but the volume of your character. Turn it up. Let the friction create fire. Let the fire burn away the dead wood of your life. What remains will be real, and what is real can win. Chapter 3. Covert Contracts and Relationships. You are walking through life carrying a secret book. It is a heavy book. It is bound in leather, and you keep it hidden deep inside your coat pocket. Nobody else knows this book exists. Nobody else has ever read a single page of it. But you write in it every single day. You write down numbers. You write down names. You write down debts. This book is your hidden ledger. It is the record of every nice thing you have ever done, and every reward you believe the world owes you in return. You hold the door open for a stranger, and you mentally write down one point in the book. You listen to a friend complain about their bad breakup for 3 hours, and you write down 50 points. You stay late at work to fix a mistake your boss made, and you write down 100 points. You believe that this book is legally binding. You believe that the universe and the people around you are keeping track of the score just like you are. You believe that when you get enough points, you can cash them in. You think that because you listened to your friend for 3 hours, they now owe you their time or their affection or their loyalty. You think that because you fixed the mistake, your boss owes you a promotion. But here is the brutal reality. Nobody else has the book. Nobody else knows the scoring system. Nobody else agreed to the deal. This is called a covert contract. A covert contract is a secret agreement that you make in your head between yourself and another person. The terms of the contract are usually unspoken. The logic goes like this. I will do this thing for you, and in return, you will do this thing for me. I will be nice, and you will love me. I will be self-sacrificing, and you will take care of my needs. I will never get angry, and you will never leave me. It sounds logical to the nice person, it sounds fair. But it is the single most destructive dynamic in human relationships. It destroys marriages, it ruins friendships, it kills sexual attraction, and it creates a deep, rotting bitterness inside of you. The problem with covert contracts is that the other person never signed them. They do not even know they are in a contract. Imagine you hire a contractor to paint your house. You agree on a price. He paints the house. You pay him. Everyone is happy. That is an overt contract. It is clear. It is spoken. Now imagine a stranger comes to your house while you are at work. He mows your lawn. He washes your car. He paints your fence. You come home and you are surprised. You say thank you. But then he stands there with his hand out. He demands $5,000. He demands that you let him sleep in your guest room. He demands that you make him dinner. You would be confused. You would be angry. You would say, I never asked you to do any of that. I do not owe you anything. This is exactly what nice people do in relationships. You do things nobody asked you to do, and then you get angry when nobody pays you for them. Let us look at a classic example in a romantic relationship. Let us call him Mark. Mark is a nice guy. He loves his wife, Lisa. Mark believes that if he is a good husband, Lisa will be affectionate and intimate with him. So Mark tries to be perfect. He does the dishes without being asked. He agrees to go to her parents' house every weekend, even though he hates it. He listens to her talk about her work stress every night. He suppresses his own needs. He never complains. He never asks for anything. In Mark's head, he is racking up points. He thinks, look at how good I am. Look at how much I sacrifice. She owes me. But Lisa does not know about the point system. She just sees Mark doing the dishes. She thinks, oh, that is nice. She sees Mark agreeing to visit her parents. She thinks, oh, he must like my parents. Months go by. Mark waits for his reward. He waits for Lisa to initiate intimacy. He waits for her to treat him like a king. But she does not. In fact, she seems a bit bored with him. She seems distant. Mark starts to feel resentful. He thinks I did everything right. Why isn't she holding up her end of the bargain? Eventually, Mark explodes. He snaps over something small like a dirty sock on the floor. He screams, I do everything for you and you do nothing for me. Lisa is shocked. She had no idea he was keeping score. She feels attacked. She feels like his love was not a gift but a bribe. She feels like he was only being nice to get something from her. And she is right. This is the tragedy of the covert contract. It turns kindness into a transaction. It turns love into a vending machine. You put the nice coin in, and you expect the sex or the love or the approval to fall out. When the machine eats your coin, you kick the machine. You have to understand that true generosity has no strings attached. If you do something for someone expecting a return, it is not a gift, it is a loan. And if you do not tell them it is a loan, it is manipulation. This dynamic is why so many nice people end up in the friend zone. The friend zone is not a place that other people put you in. The friend zone is a place you build for yourself, brick by brick, with your own behavior. Let us analyze the mechanics of attraction. Attraction, whether in business or romance, requires two things. It requires respect and it requires polarity. Respect comes from boundaries. We respect things that are solid. We respect things that have substance. We respect people who have standards. Polarity comes from difference. It comes from friction. It comes from the spark between two opposing forces. The nice person destroys both respect and polarity. When you are overly nice, you become predictable. You become safe. You agree with everything. You are always available. You never disagree. You hide your true desires because you do not want to offend. To the other person, you become boring. You are like a movie with no conflict. You are like a game with no difficulty setting. There is no challenge in being with you. There is no mystery. If you are always available, your time has no value. This is basic economics, supply and demand. If the supply of your attention is infinite, the demand will be zero. The nice guy thinks that by being constantly available, he is showing love. He thinks he is proving his devotion. But what he is actually signaling is that he has no life. He is signaling that he has no other options. He is signaling that his time is worthless. In the dating world, this is fatal. Humans are hardwired to value what is scarce. We want the prize that we have to work for. We want the partner who chooses us, not the partner who needs us. When you use covert contracts in dating, you are essentially trying to buy attraction with servitude. You think if I listen to her problems enough, she will see what a great guy I am. If I buy her enough dinners, she will owe me a chance. But attraction cannot be bought. It must be negotiated through strength. When you hide your intentions, you come across as asexual. You come across as a non-threat. You become the nice friend because you acted like a nice friend. You did not act like a potential partner. You did not show your desire. You did not take a risk. You waited for permission that never came. And then, when the object of your affection chooses someone else, someone who is perhaps less nice but more assertive, more direct and more authentic, you feel bitter. You say nice guys finish last. But the truth is you didn't finish last because you were nice. You finished last because you were dishonest. You pretended to be a friend when you wanted to be a lover. You tried to sneak your way into a relationship through the back door of servitude, instead of walking through the front door of intent. This applies to business just as much as romance. Think about the consultant or the freelancer who gives away everything for free. They have a pick my brain session with a potential client. They give away their strategy. They solve the client's problems in the first meeting. They are helpful. They are nice. They think the client will be so impressed that they will hire them immediately. But often the client says, "Thanks so much, that was great," and then hires someone else. They hire the consultant who charged $500 just for the initial meeting. Why? Because the client values the person who values themselves. If you give your expertise away for free, you are saying it is worth zero. You are entering a covert contract that says, "I will give you free value and you will owe me a job." But business does not work on hidden debts. It works on clear value exchange. The expensive consultant says, "I can solve your problem and it will cost you this much." That is an overt contract. It is respected. The nice person is terrified of the overt contract. They are terrified of stating their price. They are terrified of stating their needs. They are afraid that if they ask for what they want, the answer will be no, so they manipulate. They hope, they hint, and hints are the language of the coward. It would be nice if the trash got taken out. I've been working really hard lately. My car is getting kind of old. Stop hinting. Nobody is listening to your hints, or if they are choosing to ignore them because they know you won't do anything about it. If you want the trash taken out, say, "Please take out the trash by noon." If you want a raise, say, "I have achieved these results and I am requesting a salary review." If you want to go to dinner, say, "I want to go to the Italian place tonight." Directness cuts through the fog of covert contracts. It kills the resentment before it can grow. When you state your needs clearly, you give the other person the dignity of a choice. They can say yes, or they can say no. If they say yes, great. You got what you wanted and nobody is keeping score. If they say no, that is also valuable. Now you know where you stand. You can negotiate, you can compromise, or you can leave. But you are no longer stuck in the limbo of expectation. Now, let us talk about another poison in the nice person's relationships: toxic empathy. We are taught that empathy is a superpower. We are taught that we should feel what others feel. But for the nice person, empathy often morphs into something dangerous called enmeshment. Empathy is standing on the shore and throwing a rope to a drowning person. You see their pain, you want to help them, but you keep your feet on solid ground. Enmeshment is jumping into the water and drowning with them. Nice people have porous boundaries. They absorb the emotions of the people around them. If their partner is sad, they are sad. If their boss is angry, they are anxious. If their friend is depressed, they are exhausted. You believe that this makes you a good person. You think, I care so much that I hurt when you hurt. But this is not helpful. It is actually selfish. When you absorb someone else's bad mood, you make the situation about you. Now the other person has to worry about their problem, and they also have to worry about managing your emotional reaction to their problem. Imagine a surgeon. If a surgeon had toxic empathy, they would burst into tears every time they saw a patient in pain. They would be shaking so hard they couldn't hold the scalpel. They would be useless. To be effective, the surgeon must have cold empathy. They must care about the outcome, but they must remain detached from the emotion. They need to be the strongest person in the room, not the most emotional. In your relationships, you need to be the solid ground. If your partner is having a panic attack, they do not need you to have a panic attack too. They need you to be calm. They need you to say, I see you are struggling and I am here. Nice people often use their empathy as a way to avoid their own lives. It is easier to focus on fixing someone else's broken life than to face the emptiness of your own. You become a fixer. You attract broken people because they give you a purpose. You find the alcoholic, the narcissist, the perpetual victim. You think, I can save them. You think, if I love them enough, they will change. This is the ultimate covert contract. I will fix you, and then you will be the perfect partner for me. It never works. You cannot fix people. People only change when they want to change. By trying to save them, you are actually enabling them. You are cushioning their fall so they never hit the bottom. You are protecting them from the consequences of their own actions. And in the process, you destroy yourself. You drain your bank account. You ruin your health. You lose your other friends. And when you finally have nothing left to give, the broken person leaves you. Why? Because you are no longer useful, or because they resent you for trying to control them. You must learn the difference between support and caretaking. Support is encouraging someone who is already doing the work. It is cheering for the runner. Caretaking is carrying the runner on your back. If you are carrying someone, you are not in a relationship. You are in a hostage situation. So, how do we burn these covert contracts? How do we stop the resentment? The first step is to become aware of your hidden ledger. Catch yourself in the act. When you feel that flash of anger or resentment, stop. Ask yourself, what did I expect that I didn't get? Did you expect a thank you? Did you expect a return favor? Did you expect mind reading? Identify the transaction you created in your head. Then, you have a choice. You can either let it go, or you can make the contract overt. If you choose to let it go, you must do it purely. You must say, I chose to do this kindness because I wanted to. I release the expectation of a reward. If you cannot do that, then do not do the kindness. It is better to be selfish and honest than to be generous and resentful. If you don't want to drive your friend to the airport, say no. If you do it and then hate them for it, you have poisoned the friendship. If you choose to make the contract overt, you must speak up. I am feeling unappreciated. I need some help with the house. Can you do the dishes tonight? I have been feeling disconnected from you. I would really like to plan a date night this Friday. Notice the language. I feel. I need. I would like. This is vulnerable. It opens you up to rejection. But it is the only way to get your needs met by another human being. You must also learn to tolerate the anxiety of bad emotions in others. When you stop playing the nice guy role, people will react. When you stop fixing everything, things will break. When you stop absorbing everyone's feelings, people will have to carry their own loads. They might get angry. They might call you selfish. Let them. Their anger is not your responsibility. Their disappointment is not your failure. This is a crucial concept. You are not responsible for other people's feelings. You are responsible for your actions. You are responsible for being respectful. But you cannot control how someone interprets your boundaries. If you say, no, I can't come to the party, and they get mad, that is about them. That is about their expectation, their insecurity, their neediness. It is not about you. The nice person thinks, I made them mad. The healthy person thinks, they are mad because I said no, and that is okay. They will get over it. You have to build an emotional immune system. You have to be able to sit in a room with someone who is unhappy and not rush to fix it. This is power. When you can look at a problem and not panic, you become a leader. When you can look at a conflict and not run away, you become a partner. Real relationships are built on the truth. And the truth is sometimes messy. The truth is sometimes, I am angry, or I am hurt, or I want more. Covert contracts are a way of hiding the truth. They are a way of pretending everything is fine while the house is burning down. Burn the book. Throw away the ledger. Stop keeping score. Start asking for what you want. Start giving only what you can give freely. Start saying no when you mean no. You will lose some people. The parasites will fall away. The people who only liked you for your utility will leave. Let them go. You are making room for the people who like you for you. You are making room for relationships where you don't have to buy love with servitude. You are making room for a life where you are not a servant, but a sovereign. The friend zone is a choice. The resentful marriage is a choice. The doormat employee is a choice. Choose differently. Choose to be real. In the next section of this chapter, I want to go deeper into the specific mechanics of the ledger and give you a mental exercise to destroy it. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that book I talked about, the one with all the debts people owe you. Imagine all the times you swallowed your pride. Imagine all the favors you did that went unnoticed. Visualize that book. It is heavy. It is dragging you down. Now imagine throwing it into a fire, watch the pages curl, watch the ink disappear, watch the debts vanish. You are now debt-free. But more importantly, everyone else is debt-free of you. Nobody owes you anything. This thought is terrifying at first. If nobody owes me anything, why will they treat me well? They will treat you well because they respect you. They will treat you well because they love you. Or they won't treat you well, and you will have the self-respect to walk away. But you will no longer be waiting for a payment that is never coming. You are free from the waiting. You are free to take action. If you want something, go get it. If you want love, find someone who gives it freely. If you want respect, command it. The world does not owe you a living. The world does not owe you happiness. The world is a neutral place. It gives you back what you put out, not what you secretly hope for. If you put out passivity, you get nothing. If you put out clear intention, you get results. Let us look at the nice guy in the workplace again. He thinks that his work should speak for itself. This is a covert contract. I will work hard, and the work will tell my boss I am good. Work does not speak. Work is inanimate. You must speak for your work. You must be the advocate for your own value. You must market yourself. I completed this project, and it saved the company $10,000. I would like to lead the next initiative. This is not arrogance. This is reporting facts. The nice person thinks that self-promotion is a sin. They think it is bragging. But if you do not tell people what you have done, they will not know. People are busy. Your boss is thinking about his own boss. He is not tracking your every move. You have to help him see your value. You have to make it easy for him to reward you. When you break the covert contract of silence for reward, you become an active player in your career. You stop being a victim of the corporate structure and start navigating it. And finally, let's touch on the concept of the keeper of the peace. Many nice people view themselves as the peacekeepers of their families or friend groups. They mediate arguments. They soothe hurt feelings. They absorb the tension. They think this is a noble role. But often they are just conflict avoiders in disguise. They are not keeping the peace, they are keeping the silence. Real peace is not the absence of conflict. Real peace is the resolution of conflict. If you just cover up the problems to keep everyone quiet, the problems rot underneath. You are building a house on a swamp. Sometimes you have to let the war happen. Sometimes you have to let the argument explode, because on the other side of the explosion is clarity. Stop trying to manage everyone's reality. Stop trying to control the emotional temperature of the room. It is exhausting, and it is impossible. You are only responsible for your own frequency. If you are calm, grounded, and honest, that is the best contribution you can make to any relationship. When you drop the covert contracts, you might feel naked. You no longer have the shield of "I'm just being nice." You have to stand in your own truth. But in that nakedness there is strength. There is the strength of a person who has nothing to hide. A person with no hidden agenda is the most powerful person in the room. People trust them. People follow them. People fall in love with them. Because they are real. Be real. It is worth the risk. Now we are going to transition into the practical application of this. How do you actually say the words? How do you turn a covert contract into an overt request? It follows a simple formula: observation, feeling, need. Step 1. Observation. State the facts without judgment. I notice that I have cooked dinner every night this week. Not, you are lazy and never cook. Step 2. Feeling. State your emotion. I am feeling tired and a bit taken for granted. Not, you make me feel like a slave. Step 3. Need. State the request clearly. I need us to alternate cooking nights. Can you take tomorrow? This formula works. It strips away the accusation. It strips away the passive aggressiveness. It is clean communication. Practice this. Write it down if you have to. The next time you feel that familiar burn of resentment, do not swallow it. Do not write it in your hidden ledger. Use the formula, speak the truth, and watch how your relationships change. The people who truly care about you will respond. They will say, I didn't realize. Of course I can help. And the resentment will vanish, replaced by respect. This is the end of the era of the secret deal. This is the beginning of the era of the handshake. Look people in the eye, tell them what you want, and accept nothing less than an honest answer. Chapter 4. The Economics of No. You are bankrupt. I am not talking about your bank account. I am not talking about the money in your wallet. I am talking about something much more valuable. I am talking about your energy. I am talking about your time. If you are a nice person, you are living in a state of constant energy debt. You wake up tired. You go through your day rushing from one obligation to another. You answer every email. You take every call. You say yes to every meeting. You say yes to every favor. You help your coworker with their report. You help your friend move their couch. You listen to your mother complain on the phone for an hour. By the time you get home, you are empty. You have nothing left for yourself. You have nothing left for your dreams. You have nothing left for your health. You collapse on the couch, scroll through your phone, sleep, and then wake up to do it all over again. You are running a business called You Incorporated, and you are giving away your product for free to anyone who asks. No business can survive like that. You are headed for a crash. This chapter is about the economics of your life. It is about understanding that you are a limited resource. It is about learning the most powerful word in the English language. That word is no. We need to start with a basic fact of biology and physics. You do not have infinite energy. You do not have infinite time. You have 24 hours in a day. You have a limited amount of glucose in your brain to make decisions. You have a limited amount of emotional bandwidth to handle stress. Every time you say yes to something, you are spending a currency. When you say yes to a coffee date you do not want to go to, you are spending 2 hours of your time currency and a huge chunk of your emotional currency. The nice person thinks that they have an unlimited budget. They think, I can just squeeze it in. I can just sleep less. I can just work harder. But the economy of life is ruthless. If you spend your time on things that do not matter, you will not have time for the things that do. This is called opportunity cost. In economics, opportunity cost means that for every choice you make, you are sacrificing the next best alternative. If you spend an hour watching a show you do not like just to keep your partner company, the cost is not just 1 hour. The cost is the hour you could have spent at the gym. The cost is the hour you could have spent working on your side business. The cost is the hour you could have spent reading a book that changes your life. Every yes is a no to something else. When you say yes to the boring meeting, you are saying no to deep work. When you say yes to the toxic friend, you are saying no to your peace of mind. When you say yes to staying late at the office, you are saying no to your family. You are not being nice, you are being a bad investor. You are investing your most precious resources into assets that give you zero return. We need to treat your energy like a bank account. Imagine you have $100 of energy every morning. Your boss asks for a favor. That costs $10. Your coworker gossips to you. That costs $5. You worry about what someone thinks of your shoes. That costs $15. You say yes to a party you dread. That costs $50. By noon you are overdrawn. You are in the red. And when you are in the red, you become irritable. You become anxious. You become resentful. You snap at the people you actually love because you gave all your money to strangers. This is why nice people often have terrible home lives. They give the best of themselves to the world, and they give the scraps to their families. They are polite to the stranger at the grocery store, but they are short-tempered with their spouse. They have spent their budget on people who do not matter, and they have nothing left for the people who do. You must stop this. You must learn to hoard your energy. You must learn to be stingy with your time. There is a famous analogy that you have heard 1,000 times, but you have never actually applied it. It is the oxygen mask on the airplane. The flight attendant tells you that in case of an emergency, masks will drop from the ceiling. They tell you to put your own mask on first before you help others. Why? Is it because they want you to be selfish? No. It is because if you pass out from lack of oxygen, you cannot help anyone. If you are unconscious, you are dead weight. You become a liability. You become another body that someone else has to save. Nice people try to put the mask on everyone else first. They run around the cabin trying to save the child, the old lady, the person in row 34. And then they collapse in the aisle. They did not save anyone. They just added to the chaos. If you do not prioritize yourself, you become useless to the world. If you burn out, you cannot work. If you get sick from stress, you cannot care for your children. If you are resentful, you cannot be a loving partner. Selfishness is not a dirty word. Selfishness is a prerequisite for survival. There is a difference between toxic selfishness and protective selfishness. Toxic selfishness is taking from others to benefit yourself. Protective selfishness is keeping what is yours so you can remain strong. You need to become protectively selfish. You need to build a fortress around your time. Let us look at a strategy from one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett. This story might be apocryphal, but the lesson is profound. The story goes that Warren Buffett was talking to his personal pilot, a man named Mike Flint. Mike had worked for Buffett for 10 years. Buffett asked him about his career goals. Mike said he had a lot of things he wanted to do. Buffett told him to do an exercise. He said, "Mike, write down the top 25 things you want to accomplish in your life." So Mike took some time and wrote down 25 goals. Then Buffett said, "Now look at the list and circle the top 5, just 5, the most important ones." Mike thought about it. It was hard, but he circled the 5 absolute most important things. Buffett asked, "So what are you going to do with the other 20? Mike said, "Well, the top 5 are my primary focus, but the other 20 are still important. I will work on them intermittently. I will fit them in when I have time. They are not urgent, but I still want to do them." Buffett looked at him and said, "No, you are wrong. Those 20 things are not your secondary list. They are your avoid at all costs list. No matter what, you will give them no attention until you have succeeded at your top 5. This is the secret. The enemy of the great is not the bad. The enemy of the great is the good. The things on that second list were good things. They were worthy goals, but they were not the most important. If Mike split his energy between 25 things, he would achieve none of them. He would make 1 millimeter of progress in 25 directions. To win, you must make a mile of progress in one direction. Nice people have a list of 100 things. They want to be a great worker, a great friend, a great volunteer, a great parent, a great cook, a great listener. They want to help everyone. They say yes to the good things constantly. Can you help with the bake sale? It is a good thing, so you say yes. Can you join this committee? It is a good thing, so you say yes. Can you proofread my novel? It is a good thing, so you say yes. But all those good things are stealing the lifeblood from your great thing. They are distracting you from your true purpose. You have to learn to say no to good things. You have to learn to say no to opportunities that seem nice, but do not align with your top 5. This is painful. It feels wrong to say no to a friend who needs help. It feels wrong to turn down a project, but you must remember the pilot. You must put those things on your avoid at all costs list. If you do not prioritize your life, someone else will. If you do not fill your calendar with your own goals, other people will fill it with theirs. The world is full of people who are looking for empty vessels to carry their baggage. If you are open, if you are available, they will find you. They will dump their tasks onto your desk. They will dump their emotional drama into your ears. You must put up a sign that says occupied. Now let us talk about the emotion that stops you from doing this. That emotion is guilt. Guilt is the weapon that the world uses to keep you in line. Guilt is the electric fence that keeps the sheep in the pen. When you try to step out, when you try to say no, you get a shock, you feel bad, you feel mean, you feel like a disappointment. So you step back. You say yes to stop the pain of the guilt. You need to reframe what guilt means. You treat guilt like a stop sign. You think, I feel guilty, therefore I am doing something wrong. I want you to treat guilt like a compass needle. For a nice person, guilt usually means you are doing something right. It means you are setting a boundary. It means you are engaging in protective selfishness. When you say no to your mother who wants you to visit for the 3rd time this week, you will feel guilty. That guilt is not a signal to change your mind. It is a signal that you are breaking a pattern. It is growing pains. Muscles hurt when you exercise them. That pain means they are getting stronger. Your no muscle hurts when you use it. That guilt means you are becoming an individual. You have to learn to sit with the guilt. You have to learn to feel it and not act on it. Imagine the guilt is a cloud passing through the sky. You are the mountain. The cloud is dark. It might rain. But the mountain does not move. The mountain does not apologize to the cloud. You just wait. And eventually, the cloud passes. If you act on the guilt, if you pick up the phone and say, okay, fine, I'll come over, you have let the cloud move the mountain. You have lost. Every time you withstand the guilt without caving in, you get stronger. The next time, the guilt will be a little less, and the time after that even less. Eventually, you will be able to say no with zero guilt. You will just feel clarity, but you have to go through the fire to get there. So how do we actually do this? How do we say the word no without sounding like a monster? Many nice people try to say no, but they do it weakly. They use the soft no. I'm not sure if I can make it, let me check. I'd love to, but I'm really busy right now, maybe later. I'm so sorry, I feel terrible, but I might have a conflict, and this is weak. This is blood in the water for sharks. When you give a soft no, the other person hears. There is a chance they hear, if I push harder, they will say yes. They hear they are just playing hard to get. So they push. They say, oh, just come for an hour, or I really need you, please check your schedule again. And then you cave. You need to learn the hard no. A hard no is polite, but it is firm. It closes the door completely. It leaves no room for negotiation. Here are some scripts you can use. You should memorize these. Script 1, the policy. No. I have a policy that I do not take on new projects on weekends. That is my family time. I have a rule that I do not lend money to friends. I value our friendship too much. When you make it a policy or a rule, it sounds less personal. It is not that you are rejecting them. You are just following your own law. People respect laws. They respect rules. It makes you sound professional. Script 2, the deferral. No. I am fully booked for this quarter. I cannot take anything else on right now. Notice I did not say, I'm sorry, I just stated a fact. I am fully booked. It is a statement of reality. Script 3, the not a fit. No. Thank you for thinking of me, but this isn't a good fit for me right now. This is great for social invitations or job offers. You do not need to explain why it is not a fit. You just say it is not. Script 4, the simple no. No, I can't do that. Sometimes fewer words are better. There is a trap you must avoid called JADE. It stands for justify, argue, defend, explain. When nice people say no, they feel the need to jade. I can't come because my cat is sick and my car broke down and I have a headache and... Stop. When you explain, you are giving the other person ammunition. You are opening a negotiation. If you say, I can't come because my car broke down, they will say, I'll pick you up. Now you are trapped. Now you have to invent another lie or say yes. If you just say, I can't make it, there is no argument. Why not? I just can't. But we need you. I understand, but I won't be there. Do not give them the because is your weakness. Keep your reasons to yourself. You do not owe anyone an explanation for how you spend your time. This brings us back to the concept of value. Scarcity creates value. Gold is valuable because it is rare. Air is vital, but it is free because it is everywhere. If you are always available, you are air. You are necessary, maybe, but nobody pays for air. Nobody thanks the air. If you are sometimes unavailable, you become gold. When you start saying no, people will start to value your yes. If you turn down 5 invitations and then accept the 6th, the person will be thrilled. They will think, wow, they made time for me. They will feel special. If you accept every invitation, they feel nothing. You are just a warm body filling a seat. You want to be the person whose presence is a present. You want to be the person whose attention is a prize. This requires you to be comfortable with missing out. Nice people have FOMO, fear of missing out. They say yes to the party because they are afraid something fun will happen without them. They say yes to the project because they are afraid they will lose visibility. You must embrace JOMO, joy of missing out. There is a joy in staying home. There is a joy in having an empty calendar. There is a joy in knowing that while everyone else is running around exhausted, you are resting, you are recharging. You are sharpening your axe. Abraham Lincoln said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." Nice people spend 6 hours hitting the tree with a dull axe. They are working hard, they are sweating, but they are making no progress. They are too busy chopping to stop and sharpen. Saying no is sharpening the axe. Sleeping is sharpening the axe. Reading is sharpening the axe. Sitting in silence is sharpening the axe. When you finally do swing, you will cut through the wood in one blow. The nice person will still be hacking away, tired and frustrated. Let us look at the workplace again. The employee who says yes to everything is the employee who gets burned out. They become the go-to person for garbage work. The boss thinks, I can give this boring task to Bob, he never complains. I can make Bob work late, he never says no. You become the path of least resistance. You become the doormat. Meanwhile, the employee who says no, the one who says, I can't do that administrative task because I'm focusing on the big client presentation, that employee gets promoted. Why? Because they are protecting their high-value work. They are signaling that their time is too expensive for cheap tasks. If you want to move up, you have to stop doing the work of the level you are at and start doing the work of the level you want to be. You cannot do that if you are drowning in busy work. You have to fire yourself from the small jobs. But if I say no, they will fire me. This is the fear speaking. In reality, most bosses respect boundaries. If you frame it correctly, if you frame it as I need to focus on the priorities you gave me, they will respect it. Boss, you told me that Project X is the most important thing. If I do this other task, Project X will be delayed. Which one do you want me to prioritize? Put the choice back on them. Make them see the cost. Most of the time they will say, oh, stick with Project X. You have just said no, but you sounded like a dedicated professional. We need to talk about decision fatigue. Your brain has a battery. Every time you make a decision, the battery drains. What should I wear? Drain. What should I eat? Drain. Should I answer this email? Drain. By 4 p.m., your battery is dead. This is why you eat junk food at night. This is why you snap at your kids at night. You have no willpower left. Nice people drain their batteries on other people's decisions. Where do you want to eat? I don't know. Where do you want to eat? What movie should we watch? Whatever you want. You think you are being easygoing, but you are actually forcing the other person to use their battery. And when you are trying to anticipate what they want, you are running a complex simulation in your brain that drains you even faster. Stop playing the guessing game. Make decisions. Let's eat at the burger place. I want to watch the action movie. This saves your energy. It also makes you more attractive. People like people who know what they want. Decisiveness is a leadership trait. When you protect your energy, you have more of it to give to the things that matter. Imagine you are a sculptor. You have a block of stone. That stone is your life. To make a statue, you have to chip away the pieces that do not belong. You have to remove the excess. Saying no is the chisel. If you never use the chisel, you just have a big, heavy, shapeless rock. You are everything and nothing. You have to cut away the acquaintances to find the friends. You have to cut away the hobbies to find the passion. You have to cut away the busy work to find the career. You have to be an editor. A great movie is made in the editing room. They cut hours of footage to get to the 2 hours of magic. If they kept everything in, the movie would be boring and unwatchable. Your life is a movie. Start editing. Start cutting the scenes that do not move the plot forward. Start cutting the characters that are just filling space. This sounds ruthless. It is. It is ruthless compassion. You are being ruthless with the noise, so you can be compassionate with the signal. I want you to think about your funeral. This is a dark exercise, but it is necessary. Who will be there? Who will really cry? Who will really miss you? Maybe 10 people? Maybe 20? Those are the people who matter. Everyone else is just background noise. Yet you spend your life trying to please the 500 people who will not be at your funeral. You worry about the opinion of the neighbor, the co-worker, the random person on the internet. Why? They do not own you. They do not care about you. Focus on the 10. Save your yes for the 10. Give the 10 your best energy. Give the rest of the world your polite no. This week, I want you to try an experiment. It is called the No Challenge. I want you to say no to 5 small things. Say no to a social invite you don't want to attend. Say no to a small favor that inconveniences you. Say no to a purchase you don't need. Say no to a phone call you don't want to take. Let it go to voicemail. Say no to your own negative thoughts. Write them down. Record how you felt. Did the world end? Did the sky fall? No. The sun came up. The birds sang. The traffic continued. But something changed inside you. You felt a little lighter. You felt a little freer. You bought back a piece of your soul. There is a tremendous power in walking away. When you are in a negotiation, the person who is willing to walk away has all the leverage. If you need the deal, you lose. If you can say, no thanks, you win. In life, if you need everyone's approval, you have no leverage. You are a slave to their whims. If you are willing to walk away, if you are willing to be disliked, if you are willing to be misunderstood, you become the master. You can set your terms. This is how I work. This is what I tolerate. This is what I cost. Take it or leave it. This attitude is magnetic. It draws the right people to you and repels the wrong ones. The wrong people hate boundaries. They hate hearing no. They will call you selfish. They will call you stuck up. Good. Let them go. They are the weeds in your garden. Your no is the weed killer. The right people love boundaries. They respect people who respect themselves. They will say, I admire your focus. They will say, I like that you are honest. These are the flowers. Water them. We are coming to the end of this chapter, but the work is just beginning. The economics of no is a lifelong study. You will fail. You will slide back into old habits. You will say yes when you mean no, and you will kick yourself later. That is okay. Forgive yourself, then try again. Remember the pilot. Remember the oxygen mask. Remember the chisel. You are a limited resource. You are precious. Do not spend yourself like cheap change. Spend yourself like a diamond. In the final chapter, we are going to bring this all together. We are going to talk about the transformation. We are going to talk about the shadow. We are going to talk about how to integrate your aggression and your strength to become not just a nice person, but a formidable person, a dangerous person who chooses to be kind. Because that is the ultimate goal, not to be weak and harmless, but to be strong, capable of terrible things, and yet choosing peace. That is virtue. But to get there, you must first clear the path. You must clear the clutter. You must learn the power of no. Start today. Pick one thing, say no, and feel the rush of freedom. The cage door is open. All you have to do is fly out. Chapter 5. From nice to dangerous. We have arrived at the final stage of your transformation. We have dissected the biology of your fear. We have looked at the cost of your silence. We have burned the covert contracts that destroyed your relationships. We have learned the economics of saying no. Now we must rebuild you. The title of this chapter might scare you, From Nice to Dangerous. You might be thinking that you do not want to be dangerous. You have spent your whole life trying to be safe. You have spent your whole life trying to be harmless. You think that being harmless is the same thing as being virtuous. You are wrong. There is a very old and very wise saying, you should be a monster, and then you should learn to control it. Think about a rabbit. A rabbit is harmless. A rabbit cannot hurt you. A rabbit has no claws, no fangs, and no muscles to fight. Is the rabbit virtuous because it does not eat you? No, the rabbit is not eating you because it cannot eat you. The rabbit is not good. The rabbit is just weak. Now think about a warrior. A warrior has a sword. He has the training to kill. He has the strength to destroy. But he chooses to keep his sword in its sheath. He chooses to sit peacefully in the garden. He chooses to protect his family rather than attack his neighbors. That is virtue. Virtue is having the capacity for mayhem and choosing peace. If you are incapable of violence, you are not peaceful. You are just helpless. This is the core philosophy of the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. He talked about something called the shadow. The shadow is the part of your personality that you hide. It is the part of you that contains your aggression, your selfishness, your sexuality, your desire for power, and your capacity for cruelty. Nice people are terrified of their shadow. They think that if they acknowledge these dark feelings, they are bad people. So they repress them. They shove them deep down into the basement of their subconscious. They pretend that they never get angry. They pretend that they never want to dominate. They pretend that they are purely creatures of light and love. But the shadow does not go away just because you ignore it. It grows. It festers in the darkness. And because you are not watching it, it starts to control you. This is why nice people are often the most passive-aggressive people in the world. You cannot express your anger directly, so it leaks out sideways. You make snide comments. You accidentally forget to do things. You give people the silent treatment. You gossip behind their backs. This is your shadow acting out. Because you have not integrated it, it has possessed you. You are not a good person. You are a weak person who is secretly full of resentment. To become a formidable person, to become a person who commands respect, you must integrate your shadow. You must open the basement door and look the monster in the eye. You must realize that your aggression is not a defect. It is a fuel. Aggression is simply energy. It is the drive to move forward. It is the drive to conquer obstacles. It is the drive to protect what is yours. Without aggression, you cannot succeed in business. Without aggression, you cannot defend your children. Without aggression, you cannot create art. You need to stop being afraid of your own teeth. When you integrate your shadow, you become dangerous in the best possible way. You become someone who could say something mean, but chooses to be kind. You become someone who could take what they want, but chooses to negotiate fairly. People can sense this potential for danger. It is not a threat. It is a presence. It is a gravity. When you walk into a room, people should feel that you are not to be trifled with. They should feel that you are kind because you want to be, not because you have to be. This creates safety. Paradoxically, the dangerous person is the safest person to be around because they are in control. The weak person is unpredictable. The weak person will stab you in the back because they are too afraid to stab you in the front. The dangerous person will look you in the eye and tell you the truth. So how do we build this dangerous capability? How do we move from being a doormat to being a fortress? We start with the body. Your mind and your body are a feedback loop. If you feel small, you will make yourself physically small. You will hunch your shoulders. You will look at the floor. You will cross your legs and arms to protect your vital organs. You will speak quietly. But it works the other way too. If you change your body, you change your brain chemistry. There is a famous study about lobsters. Yes, lobsters. Lobsters have a hierarchy. The top lobster, the one who wins the fights and gets the best territory, has high levels of a chemical called serotonin. He walks tall. He extends his claws. He takes up space. The bottom lobster, the one who loses, has low serotonin. He shrinks. He hides. Here is the fascinating part. If you give the loser lobster antidepressants, which increase serotonin, he starts to act like a winner. He starts to fight again. He stretches out. You have the same chemical system in your brain. When you act like a loser, your brain drops your serotonin. This makes you feel more anxious and more depressed, which makes you act even more like a loser. It is a downward spiral. To break the spiral, you have to hack the system. You have to adopt the posture of the winner before you feel like a winner. Stand up. Pull your shoulders back. Expose your chest. Look people in the eye. When you look someone in the eye, do not look away first. This is a dominance game that humans play subconsciously. The nice person always looks down or away when eye contact happens. They are signaling submission. They are saying, "I am not a threat, please don't hurt me." I want you to hold the gaze. You do not have to stare like a psychopath. Just hold it for 1 second longer than feels comfortable. Let them look away first. When you enter a room, do not rush to a chair in the corner. Stand in the center for a moment. Take up space. Spread your papers out on the table. Do not apologize for your physical existence. When you speak, lower your pitch. Nice people often speak with an upward inflection at the end of their sentences, like they are asking a question. Even when they are stating a fact, this is called upspeak. It kills your authority. It sounds like you are asking for permission to speak. Speak in statements. Drop your voice at the end of the sentence. I will have the report ready by Monday. Not I will have the report ready by Monday. These are small physical changes, but they signal to your own brain and to the world that you are not prey. You are a predator who is under control. Now, let us talk about assertiveness training. There are 3 ways to communicate: passive, aggressive, and assertive. Passive is, I lose, you win. You sacrifice your needs for others. Aggressive is, I win, you lose. You trample on others to get what you need. Assertive is, I win, you win. You state your needs clearly, but you respect the other person's rights. Nice people think the only alternative to passive is aggressive. They think, if I stop being a doormat, I will become a bully. This is black and white thinking. Assertiveness is the middle path. Assertiveness is simply stating facts about your own reality. It is saying, I like this, I do not like that. I will do this, I will not do that. It requires no anger. In fact, true assertiveness is incredibly calm. If a dog barks and snaps, it is because it is afraid. It is aggressive. If a lion sits and watches you, it is not barking. It does not need to bark. It knows it can eat you. It is assertive. You want to be the lion. Calm, unbothered, direct. I'm going to give you 2 specific verbal techniques that will make you bulletproof in conflicts. These are old-school assertiveness tools, and they work like magic. Tool number 1, fogging. Nice people are terrified of criticism. If someone says you are lazy, the nice person panics. They try to deny it. No, I'm not. I worked all weekend, or they collapse. You're right, I'm terrible. Fogging is a technique where you agree with the truth in the criticism, but you refuse to be destroyed by it. You become like a fog bank. If you throw a rock at a fog bank, what happens? Nothing. The rock goes right through. The fog does not fight back. The fog just is. Let us say your boss says you are really disorganized, your desk is a mess. The defensive response is, I know where everything is, I'm busy. The fogging response is, you are right. My desk is very cluttered today. See what happened there? You agreed with the fact. The desk is cluttered. But you did not agree that you are a bad person. You did not get emotional. You just acknowledged the reality. Let us say a partner says, you are always late, you don't care about me. The defensive response is, I do care, traffic was bad. The fogging response is, I agree that I was late today, and I can see why that would make you feel I don't care. You are validating their perception without accepting the guilt. You are disarming them. When you agree with someone who is trying to fight you, they lose their balance. They have nothing to push against. This makes you look incredibly confident. Only a confident person can admit a mistake without crumbling. Tool number 2, the broken record. This is for when people will not take no for an answer. This is for the pushy salesperson, the demanding family member, or the child who wants candy. The nice person says no, but then they change their argument every time the other person pushes. I can't buy it, it's too expensive, but we have a payment plan. Well, I also don't have the space. It folds up, but I don't really need it. Everyone needs it. You are giving them new targets to shoot at. The broken record technique is simple. You choose one phrase, and you repeat it. You do not change it. You do not explain it. You just say it again. I am not interested in buying today, but it's a great deal. I understand, but I am not interested in buying today. The sale ends tomorrow. I hear you, but I am not interested in buying today. Are you sure? I am not interested in buying today. Eventually, the other person gives up. They have to. There is no new information. You are a wall. You can use this with your boss. I need you to work this weekend. I have plans this weekend. I cannot work. But the team needs you. I understand the team is busy, but I have plans this weekend. I cannot work. You are letting us down. I see that you are stressed, but I have plans this weekend. I cannot work. It feels awkward the first time you do it. You will want to apologize. You will want to explain. Don't. Just play the record. This protects you from manipulation. Manipulators look for the crack in the armor. They look for the reason they can argue with. When you give them no reason, just the statement, they are powerless. These tools, fogging and broken record, are your sword and shield. They allow you to navigate conflict without becoming aggressive. They allow you to stand your ground without shouting. Now, let us move to a deeper level. Let us talk about the concept of authentic kindness. Throughout this book, I have bashed niceness. I have told you to kill the nice guy. But I do not want you to become a cold, heartless robot. I want you to move from transactional niceness to authentic kindness. Transactional niceness is, I am nice to you so you will like me. It is selfish, it is fear-based, it is needy. Authentic kindness is, I am nice to you because I have so much self-respect and so much energy that I can afford to be generous. It is abundance-based. It is love-based. Think of a king. A weak king tries to please his subjects because he is afraid of a revolution. He gives them gold because he fears they will cut off his head. That is niceness. A strong king gives his subjects gold because he has a full treasury and he wants his people to prosper. He is not afraid of them. He gives from a place of power. That is kindness. When you set boundaries, when you say no, when you prioritize yourself, you fill your treasury. You build up your energy. You build up your self-esteem. And from that full cup, you can give. You can help a friend move not because you feel guilty, but because you genuinely love your friend and you have a free Saturday. You can listen to a partner's problem not because you are afraid of their anger, but because you have the emotional bandwidth to support them. This kindness feels different. It feels clean. It does not leave a residue of resentment. The recipient feels it too. They feel that they are receiving a gift, not a bribe. And here is the beautiful irony. When you stop trying so hard to be liked, people like you more. When you stop trying to impress people, they are impressed. Why? Because humans are drawn to autonomy. We are drawn to people who are self-governing. When you are a nice person, you are a moon. You orbit around other people. You have no gravity of your own. When you become a dangerous person, a person with boundaries and a shadow, you become a sun. You have your own gravity. You burn with your own fuel. People want to be near the sun. It is warm, it is bright, it is powerful. They might get burned if they get too close without asking, but they respect the heat. So do not fear the transformation. Do not fear the loss of your nice reputation. Your reputation as a nice person is a tombstone. It says, here lies someone who never upset anyone. What a waste of a life. You want a reputation as a fair person, a strong person, a person of their word, a person who gets things done. This requires you to be willing to be disliked. I want you to write this down and put it on your mirror. The courage to be disliked. If nobody dislikes you, you are doing nothing. You are standing for nothing. Every great leader, every great artist, every great thinker was disliked by someone. If you are authentic, you will polarize people. Some will love you, some will hate you. This is good. This means you are real. The people who hate you are usually the ones who benefit from your weakness. They are the ones who are using you. When you stand up, they will be angry because they lost their appliance. They lost their doormat. Let them be angry. Their anger is the applause for your growth. The people who love you will be the ones who respect strength. They will be the ones who want a partner, not a servant. You are building a new tribe, a tribe of equals. As we come to the end of this journey, I want you to look back at the person you were at the beginning of this book. That person was tired. That person was resentful. That person was afraid of their own voice. That person is dying. Let them die. You are being born into something new. You are becoming the protagonist of your own story. You now have the knowledge. You understand the biology of your tribe instinct. You understand the cost of silence. You understand the hidden contracts. You understand the value of your no. And you understand the power of your shadow. But knowledge is only potential power. It becomes real power only through action. You have to go out into the real world and test this. You have to get into the arena. The next time someone cuts you off, do not smile. The next time someone demands your time, say no. The next time you feel the fire of anger, do not swallow it. Channel it. Use it to build something. Use it to change something. The world does not need more nice people who are afraid to speak up. We have enough of them. They are everywhere, silent and suffering. The world needs you, the real you, the dangerous you. The world needs people who are strong enough to tell the truth, even when it hurts. The world needs people who are brave enough to set boundaries, even when it is scary. The world needs people who have monsters inside them, but who have chained those monsters to a chariot of purpose. You are that person. You have always been that person. You just forgot. You were trained to forget. You were trained to be small. But the training is over. The conditioning is broken. You are free. Stand up. Shoulders back, eyes forward. Walk into the fire of your life. You will not burn. You will be forged. You will turn into steel. And when you finally meet the person you were meant to be, you will realize that being nice was never the point. Being real was the point. Being whole was the point. You are not failing anymore. You are just beginning. This is the end of the book, but it is the start of your life. Outro. Thank you for spending this time investing in yourself. Remember, the world does not need more people who are afraid to speak up. The world needs people who are strong enough to tell the truth and kind enough to help others build it. Stop apologizing for your existence. Go out there, set your boundaries, and claim the success you deserve. If you found value in this book and want to continue your journey of growth, simply hit the subscribe button for Audiowaves right now. We are building a library for the strong, and we want you with us. I'll see you in the next video.